Something that you need to do with your quarters, the quarters that are in your pocket, the quarters that are in your home right now, before it's too late. And I want to tell you, start off with a small story. And I want to remind you the videos I just did about a week or two ago about pennies and the importance of setting aside your copper pennies, pennies that are dated 1982 or older, are already worth 3 cents, 3 pennies they're worth, because they have real metal. And that's going to change your mindset. It's blowing me away. Even my friends, when they see me in the last week, the first thing they bring up is the penny video. And I want you to do something with your quarters. Here's the story. In 1985, 86, I was in the 6th grade. I was collecting baseball cards. I don't know if any of you, type yes if you've owned baseball cards or some type of collectible. I loved them. And there was a gentleman, an older gentleman, his name was Rod, and he really affected my life. He really helped me out. I'm sure to this day doesn't realize how much he affected me. He doesn't have kids of his own, but he would spend time with me. He had a big baseball card collection, and he would spend time with me, have me over to his house. His wife sometimes would make me a snack, and he would just trade baseball cards with me. And he had this whole room full of baseball cards. Like I said, that was his hobby. I still want Rod's baseball card collection, to tell you the truth. But it was huge. And I, had a box of baseball cards, like a shoe box of baseball cards. And one day, his hobby was, his side hustle was going to the baseball card shows, and he would open up the packs and sell the cards that were worth more than the packs that he bought, and he would make a profit. And one day I noticed this little box. It was about 5 inches by 5 inches with about 4 inches tall. And it was open, lid was open, and it was filled to the brim with change, spare change. There were a lot of quarters there. And he goes, I'm like, where'd you get that? And he said, oh, that's the change I had left over from the baseball card show. When people buy like a card for 50 cents or 75 cents, they just dump the money in the thing. It's just my spare change. And I don't remember whose idea it was, but as we're trading baseball cards, he goes, oh, you want the change? And I'm like, oh, he goes, I don't know how much is in it. And there was a handful of baseball cards. Now, Rod didn't need any of these baseball cards. He had an entire room of baseball cards. He had every baseball card known to man from, 1980 to 1990, or I guess I was older than that. I'm trying to remember the dates. Sorry, I don't have the dates together. But my point being is I traded him for that change. Now, I don't remember the value of those baseball cards that day, and it was definitely a gamble. But I went home and I started to count that change. Now, to this day, it still bugs me that I know there's probably a ton of silver quarters, dimes, things like that in there. Nevertheless, I didn't know it back then, but I added it up, and it was over $100. Now, as young as I was, that's a lot of money. And I look back on that time, and I don't remember what I did with the money. But one thing I want to talk about, and why you need to do this with your quarters right now, is because that little box of change was stored up energy. Money is energy. It's only good if you turn the switch on and use it. You get into a dark room, and I know it's going to sound funny, but type 1 if you've ever, walked through a dark room because you just need to grab something in your house and you didn't turn the light switch on, and you're looking around, you're like, why? And you're just thinking back about, why didn't I just turn the light on? I'm going to go turn the light switch on. And all of a sudden it's light, you find your item. I don't know. Maybe I'm the only person. No one's typing 1 right now. But all right, there we go. Jim and Doug typed 1. So I'm not the only person, right? Well, money is energy, and it's just sitting there stagnant. It's useless. And the truth is, and I'm going to get to why there's a bunch of drawers in the back of my truck. It has to do with this exact thing. And I'm hoping that I really change or build up something inside of you that's been this feeling inside that, look, that box of change did nothing until it was used and put to work. And a lot of us have an excuse of why we won't do something, why we won't start something. Whether that's your spouse in your ear saying, that dream, that goal of yours is not real, it's not going to work. Or it's people at your workplace or people at your school that are talking, negatively around you. Or maybe it's when you look in the mirror, you just don't know how you can accomplish something. The truth is, some of us let's put it this way, and there's nothing wrong with saying this. I think people have got a really distorted viewpoint of wealth. Type yes if you want to be wealthy. Type no if you don't want to be. And I'm going to tell you what, there are some people that are going to type no, and it's a religious spirit that's affecting them and they don't even know it. You want to know why? Because if you're wealthy, wealth is just going to accentuate who you already are. If you're a good person and you're a giver and you want to help people, yeah, you're going to help and be a much bigger giver when you're wealthy. End of story. So those people are like, my wealth is stored up in heaven. Copy. Well, you know what? God needs you're his hands and feet, so you can't. Is God just going to create manna and dump it out of the sky on all the people that are starving right now? No, that's not happening. So rearrange your priorities. It's called the love of money is the root of all evil, not money. Money's a tool. Money is stored up energy. If used properly, it can change millions of people's lives. And so there are a lot of you that don't know where to start. And I'm telling you right now, it's in the spare change in your couch. You know, I was listening to a friend of mine the other day talk about a business someone he knew got into, and he said, you know, the person started with a bunch of money and then, you know, they didn't have any after that. And I said, that's not a business. Any business that's worth doing can be started from nothing. Start with $1. It could start with a good deal. It could start with a barter. The problem is most people fail because they throw money at problems. And the reality of the situation is it's your one good idea away from $1 million. Now, why? And that's where those quarters come in. You know, when I started selling palm trees, I got a sale at Home Depot and I bought a few palm trees and I just relisted them on Craigslist. That's all I did. Before you know it, I was getting truckloads of 300 palm trees at a time, selling all of those within a couple of weeks and going back and getting more. You know, when I started my trailer business with my friend Charlie, we started with one trailer. It cost us $1,000. We sold it for $5,000 a week later. And within that next year, we made over 6 figures. Everything should start small. It's the weirdest thing to talk about because I choose to do my videos in a truck. I choose to do my videos live because I want to be as real as I can with people. But the reality is, even before I started YouTube, I was a multimillionaire. And I'm not saying that to brag. I'm saying that to encourage you. You know, I was treated like crap by my coworkers, by family members, and by friends when it came to my desire to talk about wealth, building wealth, and showing them that they could do the same thing. That is the absolute truth. Most people would just dismiss me, right? I never drove a Porsche or a Ferrari. I could, at any point, you know, since I was in my mid-20s, go buy one cash. That's the truth. Even my own father had a hard time, you know, believing me. You know, and it's just the truth, right? You know, I'm personally going through a weird time in life because I'm caught in two worlds. I'm having one of the hardest times of my life right now based on a remodel job that I'm doing because it's hard to give up my creativity and my wife's creativity too when it comes to flipping homes or building homes. And so, like, these drawers were taken out of the home that we're remodeling and I'm building some custom cabinets. So I'm just repurposing the drawers, right? But it's taking me away from other businesses that I own. And I'm having a really hard time with that. Now, why am I sharing this with you? Well, this is going to sound weird. I've told you before, I'm going to go buy a yacht. And I find myself with one of the companies that I own a small part of that we're about to launch. We're going to be launching, I just got word, in Monaco and at a yacht show. The tickets, general admission, I think, are $10,000 each, and VIP are $125,000 each. How do you like that for an entry fee for a place to go buy something? And I'm in a truck doing YouTube videos with cabinets in the back of my truck, still desiring for that start, still loving hard work, still loving starting from nothing. That's the real reason why serial entrepreneurs are serial entrepreneurs. They love starting with nothing and making something. So let me ask you this. Can you type your dream? And you know, there's some people that are going to be scared to do this because they're afraid that if they type it out right here, someone's going to see it and take it. So just so you know, you've already failed. Type your dream side job, your side hustle, or a business you'd like to be a part of. Just type it down below. You know that right now, and you know that my quest, and I will be a billionaire. And my desire is to feed a nation, and it's already starting. None of this, please don't take this as bragging. If it does, you need to go look in the mirror and ask yourself some questions, because I want to share my story with you so that you become successful, right? Look at people's answering right now. Day trader, horse breeder, a mentor to young girls. That's awesome, Brenda. Guys, there's a lot of young men that need mentoring right now. Farming, developing 13 acres right now. You know, right now I'm starting another tree farm. I just went and picked up, I was with Buddy Grant. We went and picked up a dump trailer. I just bought that. I'm buying an excavator, hopefully in a couple weeks. I got to arrange a good deal. Everything's got to be a deal. Getting a tractor, hopefully a front loader, a nice front loader. And I'm going to start, you'll probably see a couple videos of me just crushing, you know, things with the excavator one of these days. But I'm doing it because it keeps my mind busy, and I love starting something from nothing, right? Even though at the same time I'm going to this show to launch a business that I'm part of at a yacht show. I won't buy any of the new yachts. Sorry, I'm not in the market for a new yacht. I'm going to buy used, just so you know. All at the same time, I'm thinking about how excited I am is to get behind the tractor and start digging holes for trees. You know, I know a lot of very wealthy people, and the ones that I love and just admire so much, the ones that are just getting on their overalls and still working hard. I admire that so much. Yeah, on the weekends, they get in their really fancy cars, they fly in their jets, go places and do things. And the only thing they've got that most people don't have is time, because money buys time. You know, people say money doesn't buy everything. I'll tell you what, sure does buy a lot less stress when you want to just chill out and do nothing. You don't got to worry about going to work. And that's why you need to take your quarters right now and put them to work. Start something. And if you think for some reason, you know, I've heard people, you know, whine on the internet. You don't know what it's like. I don't have the money to buy silver. Like, I guarantee you, if I go look at your cell phone plan, I'll know exactly what you're doing with your money. Nobody has an excuse. I love watching YouTube videos of people that were homeless and then became multimillionaires. I love those stories because it just reminds me of my own story, and hopefully someday yours. As a matter of fact, let me ask you this. Can you type 10 if you are a millionaire that came from nothing? You didn't have anybody. You didn't get an inheritance. You just worked. Is there anybody in this room right now that's a millionaire that built up from nothing? And the reason why I say that is because, you know, you should take some time and comment and ask the people. Look at ATM is one, right? Bill is one. Go look at those people and ask them, hey, how did you do it? Let them tell you in the comment section, and go learn from them. A total stranger may give you an amazing idea or inspire you. So that's really all you need, is some inspiration. And you will be blown away. I want to remind you about signing up for the newsletter, because I'm going to put a tutorial video. I just talked with the tech team of the company about this scanning app to scan things and earn crypto. You can do this all over the world, and there's going to be an affiliate link component there, so you can even show other people and get money for that too. I think it's going to change. Honestly, I believe this is going to change thousands of people's lives, and all you need to do is take your cell phone and go around and scan barcodes. Matter of fact, I just found one. I just found a new bar. I'm not going to give it to you. I'm going to scan it. But I'll go scan it right now after this is over, and I'm going to earn some money. It's going to keep going into a bank account. and then I'm going to go convert it into XRP. And then eventually I'll convert that to cash. And I hope a lot of people do it around the world. I can't wait to fly to Thailand, where, what is it, the daily wage? People earn like $2 on average, I think, US dollars. Can you imagine them just going around and scanning every barcode coming out of Thailand, making money? This is going to change lives. I'm really excited, and it's going to clean up our oceans, which I'm even more excited about, and I can't even wait. And that's why we're going to Monaco. Well, I can't say too much. Launch hasn't happened yet. All right, with that being said, thank you so much for watching. The Economic Ninja is out.